so my internet's going to be back up tomorrow. But I'm bored. I've been jumping around all of my fucking tasks today, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the player population and audience size and audience capture and stuff like that. I am not at all procrastinating. I love working. I love being productive. I'm not procrastinating at all. It's my favorite thing to do. Okay. So, including consoles and PC, there are about 500,000 players, 500,000 gamers in existence. And I'm almost certain that the majority of those are on places like Roblox. Royal Garden was a shovelware title made by some 16-year-old kid in 3 days that became the most popular video game to ever grace the planet. And I think that it set not a tipping point, but it signified a change of generation, a change in the schism of gamer and like who considers themselves to be a gamer, like what a gamer even is, and what's the identity of one of these motherfuckers, right? If you felt ever since 2013 that whatever you are is like monstrous or strange, then I think you're going to understand what I'm talking about when I say there's a schism that happened where people that previously would never consider themselves to be gamers are now gamers. Gaming is seen as a social activity akin to walking in a park with your friends now. This is not really seen as what it used to be, which was niche nerd shit for super dedicated people. I mean, dedicated like, well, yeah, you dedicated like going to the fucking gym as well. Like, we had a wide range, a wide diversity of people that we would consider players, but despite this medium growing in such audience, it has not only reached an equilibrium, not growing anywhere past this 500,000 mark that we've reached, but it's also become confused or rather conflicted. Players in Generation Z and at the lower end of millennials and Generation Alpha especially cite that they only play like 5 to 10 video games, like at all. Now, if you're like me, then you're sitting here like, how is that fucking possible? I grew up playing like Castlevania, Legend of Zelda, all types of different fucking games. Like, I have thousands of fucking games under my fucking belt, like in experience. And you're telling me these kids only have like 5 to 10? Is that really true? Surely not. But yeah, it's true. Not only that, they go back to the same 5 or 10 games over time. They'll pop up to play something viral like Expedition 33 and then go back to playing Call of Duty, Battlefield, Roblox, whatever their social game is. Um, and they cite that the most valuable experiences for them are multiplayer experiences. They don't really give a fuck. I forgot about Fortnite. They only give a fuck about multiplayer experience. They don't really care about single player. Single player is rather boring by comparison. And it seems that the future of gaming is going to be making platforms for these kids to grow into and doing a lot of user generated content support, something that only Bethesda used to give a fuck about, but now it's everywhere. Now we want the kids to labor away on their weekends and create shadow puppet power structures to make these Roblox games under the most shady circumstances. I think there's a lot to get into about this. But first, I want to show you something. Sorry for the mess, by the way. I'm on my third monitor because the other two are clogged. All right, so this what I was looking at. This what prompted me to talk about this is the target audience that I was trying to build for my game. Right, I'm just gonna close up. So I was thinking about who I want, and I don't want everybody, right? I only want a certain subset of players. And the way that I've broken this down is by population size and focus and skill level, or rather, enthusiasm, I guess. So I've plotted the multiplayer focus off to the left side, single player focus off to the right side. I want single players. I don't want multiplayer players. And multiplayer players are the majority of people who play video games these days. Like, if we're being honest, this is the majority of gamers right here. And that's actively not my audience. That's actively who I do not want to play my game. And I think that's like, that's not the way the triple A audiences are going. Since Mario here, I might as well fucking break down my chart. It's not like it matters. You're not going to see this game for a couple years, at least. Um, but my target audience, I'm doing design decisions to attract these specific players. Low Dark Triad. I'm being a bit tricky, right? I don't actually think these players are Dark Triad. But like, you have to admit, right? Like, there's I don't know if I put it here, but like what I had in my mind when I was thinking about who I want and who I don't want, I was thinking about like Hearts of Iron players. Like, you know how those guys are always cripplingly racist in one way or another? It's just really fucking annoying to deal with them. I was also thinking about the grifters that were sitting here talking about how Assassin's Creed Shadows was going to fucking fail because there's a black samurai and the Japanese hate black people or something. And that's how you know it's going to fucking fail. We upset the Japanese by having a black person in the fucking Assassin's Creed game that did fucking numbers. They did gangbusters. And now they're fucking silent. I hate grifters, okay? If you're going to be racist, say it with your chest. Uh, like, don't sit here and pussyfoot around. Just be racist. Um, but I don't want those people. I don't want them in my game. I don't want anything to do with them. I'm going to create design decisions to repel these types of players, right? But I also do not want the other side of that coin, which are the people who do not play video games, pretend like they play video games. I'm thinking back to the days of Gamergate, where we had all those fucking fake gamers walking around saying you can't do this, you can't do that because that's not fucking progressive or whatever. I fuck off, right? I'm making my game. I just want to make cool shit, so I'm going to do things to repel both sides of that fucking coin, to repel the extremes because they're disruptive, they make for unwelcoming communities, they're unpleasant beings, and they ask for unaligned features like the ability to kill every NPC and children, especially children. I've talked about this before in one of my other game design breakdown videos, but there's this pervading issue with hardcore players, this dark triad part of the player base up here that think that it is their duty to break every single game and see how far they can push it. And I don't think that I need to sit here and consider these players when they're a minority and they're pussies. They load the game after they do all this crazy shit. They don't commit. That's my issue. If they committed, I would be okay with designing systems where you can kill as many fucking children as you want, but you load the game because you're a fuck. Sorry. Sorry. And the other side of the coin, let's see it here. Weak non-player gamers ask for unaligned features like an easy mode. I have a difficulty in mind. I have design in mind. I have a signature in mind. I'm not doing a fucking easy mode. Don't ask for an easy mode. And the fact that you even have to ask, tells me that they're probably not my target audience. Like, my target audience already knows there's not going to be a fucking easy mode. And difficult to convert into long-term loyal players. Yeah, that's right. Because they say they want easy mode, and then they fuck off. They say they want all these things from you as a developer, and then they fuck off and never play again. Like, what's the point of appealing to these people? Like, they're not really my audience. So I'm avoiding them. I'm avoiding everybody down here, and I'm avoiding the people at the very top up here because they're fucking crazy. Now, the people I do want are people who are strange, like strangely addicted to single player video games, like RPGs especially if they like getting their fucking teeth kicked in. That's my audience. That's people I like. Have very neurotic single player focused consumer grade. Once again, being tongue in cheek. When I say some consumer grade, I don't mean like they're fucking mid tier or mid quality, but I mean like they played Elden Ring and they said, "Oh my god, I beat Elden Ring," and that was a thumbs up. And they say, "I love that. I love getting my teeth kicked in by Elden Ring." You either have to be an enthusiast or somebody that's slightly neurotic to play Elden Ring and say, "Dude, I beat this, and this was one of the best games I've ever played." Most people don't fucking beat it. Most people play it, they say, "Oh yeah, that's cool. I see what everyone was on about." But it was like what I was talking about earlier when I was talking about how younger players they congregate around these 10 games and they go off to play the new hype shit like Expedition 33 or whatever it's called now, and they come back to their home base. Elden Ring was a lot like that for a lot of people. It was something that they went and they played and they came back and they said, "All right, I'm over it." Now, there's also a very small subset that I never want to ignore. I never want to fully say these people cannot exist because I've seen them. I've seen them exist. And there are people who aren't really gamers, but just need an entry point. I want to provide that. I want to be the Trojan horse that punishes them for even looking in the direction of a video game. I want that. Because they can convert into a very strong and loyal primary audience directly. That's exactly who I want. As you can see, and people who aren't inside my target audience, I'm not really paying too much attention to them. This is all going to come into play when I'm talking a bit later about audiences and like player capture and how we decide who we're making these fucking video games for, right? I'm gonna go on Bomb Rush Cyberpunk for now. Okay, let's get into it. So, what I'm ultimately trying to get at here is that there seems to be a schism that's been here since 2013 or so, where we have very young players, Generation Z, Generation Alpha, the lower end of millennials, where they don't really give a fuck about the games themselves and they care more about the experience and the aesthetic of video games. I'm not going to call them posers or anything, but what I am trying to say here is that they aren't the same as you and me. They're not like us, okay? They're not like us. They didn't play Castlevania, and they're not really goddamn. When I was younger, I feel like a fucking boomer here, even though I'm technically fucking what do you call this like weird phase in between millennial and Generation Z? Zillennial? I've heard that said over and over again. I'm a zillennial. But I recall like not having money to buy video games, and so I would have to like go to GameCommentaries.com and watch somebody play through the fucking game, and that's how I got a lot of my fucking knowledge. A lot of my design sense came from games I never really played, but I know very well because I've seen somebody play it 100%. I've sat there watching like glassy-eyed. I didn't have a computer to play the games, even if I were to legally obtain them, and I certainly didn't have the money to buy them legally. I don't know why I said legally. I'm always doing it legally. Everything I do is legal. Okay? Never forget that. Like, I know about the Rondo of Blood because I saw it, not because I directly fucking played it, but that curiosity, the will and desire to even do that in the first place is not something that kids these days, do. And that's baffling to me. A friend of mine is constantly talking about, how his nephew is on Roblox, right? I played Roblox back in the day too. It's changed a lot since the days of Sword Fight on the Heights, but it's still Roblox in the end, isn't it? The issue that they're having now seems to be a lot of child predators or whatever the fuck. I don't know. It's beyond me. It's outside my scope. It's outside my expertise. But all these Roblox players are like they're making their own games, but pretty much every game that's being made, like it's not unique or original. Instead, everything's a copy of something else. And it's like I feel kind of bad about that because I think that there's a lot of fresh ideas to be had and a lot of fresh ideas to explore, but nobody seems wanting, able, or willing to explore those ideas. Or they don't have the talent for it. Maybe that's the problem. They don't have the talent for it. And you can't really have the idea or the taste or any of that know-how without like putting the time in. You know, you're never going to know what the point of. I keep bringing up Castlevania because it's on the mind right now. You're never going to know what the point of Simon's Whip is unless like you actually were involved in some way with Castlevania. But there's just certain design signatures, certain design sense that you would not have because you never played those games. You're not exposed to those fucking games. In college, we were talking about how to develop your art sense, how to develop your taste in art. Something they tell you to do is like go out to galleries and look at art. Like you have to see the fucking art to have a take on the art. And these kids don't have a take on the fucking art. Instead, everything they see is an abstraction of whatever the fuck somebody else saw, or an abstraction of an abstraction. I made another video on this before, but the abstraction of game design, where we're sitting here not really caring about the influences behind our favorite like things, like Dungeons and Dragons coming from Tolkien fantasy novels, and certain XYZ IP coming from our time doing a fucking cave adventure. Like I'm fucking out. Like there's the ultimately the design root, the root of all these different fucking things is lost. And nobody cares to go back and investigate them. The memory of Beowulf is not something that anybody can tell like word by word from memory anymore. All we have are movies and stories. We have books. No one cares to tell the next generation what the fuck is up. Oh, I promise I'll get to the audience part in a second. But first, I also wanted to talk about like taste making. Can I not? I can't go on. Okay, nice. Hey, let's go. There's this problem that we have in hip hop right now, where all the like there was a solid generation where we had nothing but mumble rap, right? And mumble rap was like some of the most low effort, no meaning, all nothing, just empty calorie hip hop that you could fucking find. And the only people that you have to blame for that era of hip hop is the tastemakers, the people who were gatekeeping hip hop. Because like after Jay-Z and them grew fucking old and stopped putting out albums, all we had left were these SoundCloud rappers. And like while some of them flowed to the fucking top, it all it did is like it defined the wrong taste. It defined the wrong move for our fucking generation of rap. Ultimately we broke out of that. Thank God we broke out of that. But it kind of bodes unwell when the new generation of hip hop that's blowing up right now are a bunch of 50-year-old old heads. Not that I hate Pusha T or anything. I love Pusha T. I love Clips. All right, that album was fucking heat. But I'm not going to sit here and act like it's not concerning at all that 50-year-olds are leading the culture right now. People that have been doing this. Where's the new blood? And now, but like, I don't blame this completely on like the culture and like the gatekeepers and like the tastemakers themselves, because I myself haven't been going around looking for new music, but I don't know many artists that are under the age of 30 years old, brother, and that's worrying. It's worrying that the stagnation, this rot, has inflicted us, and this is happening right now with our fucking video games. I told you I was gonna bring it back. I told you I was gonna bring it back. This is happening with our fucking video games. We have a bunch of players that aren't playing any of the classics. They're not playing any of like non-abstracted influence. They're not like reading any fucking books. Every bit of knowledge they get from TikTok, which is just an abstraction of an abstraction of abstract. Like they're getting a summary for their book assignment instead of actually like doing the fucking book assignment and actually reading. And it's like, brother, um, are we in danger? I'm starting to think we're in danger here. I'm starting to think we're in dangerous territory. You should have read that. Why didn't you read? We need young people to be cultured in order to move the next generation forward, but they're not fucking cultured. And just like in rap, I don't fully blame the tastemakers, but I do have to fucking question, what role did we play in this? What the fuck? Like when I was, well, once again, doing the fucking old head thing back in my day, I was taught about torrenting and all this fucking stuff from some old heads that I hung around with, right? There's just some fucking guy, some 28-year-old guy who lived with his fucking mom in his parents' basement back when I was uncool and not actually the norm of society today. And he was like, yeah, sure, I'll put you on, I'll teach you how to do this. And he sat with me. And like long fucking nights of me and this 28-year-old guy. I was fucking 11. And he was a very strong influence on the way that I see technology and that I interface with technology. And that's not something that we do these days. You do not have older people in younger people's spaces. In fact, the scene is creepy, isn't it? How many times have I fucking heard from some crazy progressive, some crazy fucking leftist, what is an adult doing with children anyway? It didn't used to be like this. It used to be perfectly fucking healthy, but now there's exploitation, all this terrible shit going on, and the beams have become crossed, the signals have become crossed. It's kind of like the gender wars going on right now, right? Like the underlying truth of the matter has been lost in the sauce, been lost amongst all this fucking trash that's been going on, and I can't help but feel a bit sorry and a bit fucking guilty, because by bowing down and like leaving the spaces where kids are supposed to be developing these fucking tastes, have we doomed them? Have we doomed them to this? Wherever the fuck they see on TikTok being the gospel? Maybe it's not good enough to just let people enjoy things. I think that meme has actually run its fucking course. I think that was actually harmful. Letting people enjoy things has brought us to this point where most players are not gamers. 500,000 players, and only 1/3 of them are actually fucking gamers. This is worrying. Not just for the fucking culture of video games, but for like the medium of making video games as well. Why the fuck are all these games on Roblox just copies? And why is it that the original games of Roblox basically get no fucking players at all? Why is Grow a Garden and games like that now become the fucking future? Why is everything a platform? Why? And who's at fault? We live in capitalistic structures. Everything that we fucking do is driven by supply and demand. If you don't want to do it, don't buy it. It's very simple. It's very fucking easy. Okay? You vote with your wallet. That's what Total Biscuit said all those fucking years ago, and it 100% holds true. It's your number one power. Okay? Just don't fucking purchase it. It doesn't work. People purchase it for the vibes. And to a certain extent, that's necessary because we live inside of this like this pyramid structure where like the only reason that our countries are first world at all is because America is filled to the brim with consumers. Without America's consumerism, without this culture of consumerism, nobody would be making money at all. Money has to change hands in order for places to be rich like this, in order for the world to spin the way it does. And so it's necessary that people recklessly spend their money. It's necessary that there's going to be fools who fail in this financial system. But we are 500,000. We are very small. We're a fraction of a percent. There's more people that read books and play video games, and yet in this small community, we've grown even smaller. Is that not worrying? I think it's kind of worrying. I think we've all seen this fucking this pattern where like certain games are like super fucking cool. Certain indie games are super fucking cool, and they don't get played at all. The market for video games is just it's staying stable and it's not growing. And people are spending all their time on the same fucking video games. I think like I read somewhere, I don't have the internet right now, so I can't check, but I read somewhere that the top 10 games make up 70% of playtime. That is ridiculous. 70% of playtime is in the top 10 games. It has been like that for 10 years now. I'm what I'm doing right now is very strange, I think. There's not many people who actually go and play um different games often. Like I like to hop between. I like to have variety, right? I like to have a harem of games, you could say. This is not the common experience. I realize that. I recognize that, and that's a problem. Um, I wonder. God damn it, dude. This is the fucking pits. We are going to matter, like you and me, people who actually give a fuck about this stuff. We are going to matter even fucking less than we already did. All right, companies already didn't give a fuck about you. You were already disposable. You were already just a fucking number on the board. But now, with the success of this Road Guard game, if you don't know about it, it's an idle clicker. That's what it is. It's an idle clicker. Cookie clicker made manifest. But I can just feel it in my fucking bones that the combination of Roblox being what Roblox is, the games on Roblox all being fucking copies or stolen from something else, and then this of course it's not always the fucking case. I'm looking at you, Blocktails. I recognize the game. Okay, I see there's some real innovation out there, but even Blocktails is just fucking Paper Mario, brother. Oh my god, this is bad. The industry's going to. I know they're going to do it. I know they're going to say, yo, we could be doing this. Fucking Battlefield 6 says it's going to have user-generated content. First and foremost, I listen. I'm not the type of person that looks at a AAA company and says good things about them. Okay, even when they do good things, I never believe it's for a good reason. All right, their money people would never sit here and let this happen unless they smell dollar bills. The only reason they're doing this is because Fortnite made a lot of fucking cash. The entire experiment of Fortnite and making this ultimate universe where everyone connected from John Wick to fucking Lego figures absolutely failed. But apparently it didn't seem like a failure in the boardroom, so people want to do it. And it's like, okay, buddy, I still struggle to use this map. It's been like 6 months since I played this game, you know? Hey, buddy, can I get in? Hey, thanks, I appreciate that. Oh yeah, this place, the fucking maze. The fucking forest maze. So the characteristics of this new type of player, I've already talked about it a bit before, but I'll repeat it again. They like to play with their friends. They're not really here to play the game for the game. They're playing because their friends are on the fucking game. It's how they keep in contact with everyone. They don't really. Sometimes they use Discord. With my nephew, it seems that he spends most of his time talking with his friends in the lobby of Fortnite. That's their hangout, rather than any type of fucking online service. This player isn't really too concerned with single player games unless it's a trend, and they are not going to play games that have not been marketed to them by someone that they trust. These players are very high trust players. You need to advertise in the places that they congregate. I cannot believe I got up here. And usually this is TikTok. So they'll listen to someone on TikTok market them something that's absolutely fucking nonsense and absolutely bullshit and absolutely misrepresented. And they'll say, yep, sounds good. And they'll put money down. They're also not very fucking frugal. They spend on microtransactions, feeding this beast that has been killing us for the past 20 years. I love that. I love to see it. Multiplayer, same games, microtransactions, high trust. Yeah, it's completely different audience than you and me. It isn't even like sound like the same fucking species, does it? Like when I've heard this the first time, I was like, what are you talking about? That doesn't even sound like a gamer. Like what? There's no way. But yeah, that's that's the new generation, and that's the people who are growing up with video games now. And although there's always going to be those kids that are like, I grew up in the wrong generation. Like we're all familiar with those, right? Like we all know who those people are. It's been a while since I've been down here. Was there any reason to be down here at all? All right, snake here there is. Maybe there was this tag or something down there. I don't know. Whenever I'm thinking about the people who would be playing my game in the future, I get a little bit worried, a little bit worked up about it. I'm okay with my game having like a niche audience. How the fuck do you get on this thing again? Do you not just... Okay, I can't remember how to get on top of this with the fucking skateboard. Oh, I don't know how I just did that, but okay. Well, I feel like this is a scene from something. I just don't know what the scene is. I'm not cultured enough. Another thing that concerns me is that a lot of there's a flood, a absolute like torrent of fucking games coming out every single day. Most of them are slop. Most of them are absolutely dog shit. Most of them are not worth the hard drive space. But some of them are actually genuinely good, and it's difficult to find those fucking gems. It gets even more fucking difficult as time goes on. As classic gamers, we have the privilege of being able to look back at 30 years of gaming history and saying, all right, this was a classic, and we know so because the other games that came out that year were dog shit by comparison. But the only thing we can do now is like, we can't keep track of it all. There actually might be legitimate games out there that are actually like golden, but nobody has played. Absolutely fucking nobody. And word of mouth, it just wasn't enough to get them past those initial 6 players that said, wow, this is really cool. They play for 30 hours and they don't tell anybody. Like, that's the gaming community itself has become very fractured, and the different, like, even though the console wars are dead, now we have the platform wars. You're not going to play Fortnite if you are on Roblox for some reason. Like, I don't know why. Don't ask me why, but that seems to be the case right now. That's all. This again. And once again, I just think it's a culture problem more than anything else. Like, there's no fucking tastemakers. These kids didn't have the influences in their fucking lives to tell them, yo, you need to get on some real games, okay? You need to stop playing this dog shit. You need to play some real fucking video games. As a result, they're left to their own devices. They get manipulated by this trash, by this by these fucking Roblox copies or fucking idle games of all things, and we all suffer as a result. Because the biggest game of all time, the biggest game of all time, brother. That's not like that's not an exaggeration. Bro, Garden was the biggest game of all time. We're doomed. And maybe that's okay. I've been advocating for a long time that we need to start fragmenting, okay? We can't all be gamers. Everybody's a gamer, nobody's a fucking gamer. There's only 1 million of us, we might as well fragment further. We might as well. What's the fucking point? There's no fucking union, no loyalty. We need to establish a new fucking baseline for what the fuck gamer is. And we have to actually do this tastemaker thing. We actually do have to have, like, real influence. And it can't be YouTubers, because YouTubers do anything for a fucking buck. As we've seen, it didn't used to be that way, but it sure as hell is now. Hello? You live down here, buddy? What'd you say? You said you pay $800 for rent? The city got you by the balls. Hate to see it. I wonder what that would even fucking look like. What is the video game cabal, right? who are the video game tastemakers? For me, it was Screw Attack. Who is it now? How do we find these smaller indie games that actually are good? Where do they go? And there's also this, like, other problem of, like, okay, there are good games out there, but there are too many good games, aren't there? It comes down to the rap problem that I was talking about earlier. Like, there's probably a lot of good young artists. I just haven't fucking heard them. I don't have the time to hear them, okay? I don't have so much time in a fucking day. Even though when I'm bored like this, I'd rather spend that time with my own thoughts and listening to someone else's music. Mainly because I find my fucking project a lot more interesting than music right now. I don't know. I don't really have a fucking answer or a solution to this problem that we're experiencing, this thing that we're going through right now. I'm able to draw the parallels. I'm able to recognize the patterns, but I can't say for certain what a tastemaker even looks like, or even if we should even fucking have one. Maybe it's okay. Maybe it's okay for gaming to just die, for it to become a niche underground thing once more, right? Gaming has to shed its fucking skin. They don't know what Castlevania is, and that's okay, right? Like, there's a solid generation of us that didn't know what the fuck Fire Emblem was. Or like Marth from Super Smash Brothers. Yeah, I played that game. No, that's not fair, because Fire Emblem wasn't fucking translated, right? That was the issue. It wasn't translated. You can't blame us for that. Oh yes, another anime boy with the sword, my favorite. Like, we all knew fucking Kirby and all these... Well, do we know Omar? Yeah, Pikmin was big. Yeah, it was a translation issue. Alright, we're different. We're built different, okay? We're not like those fucking kids. Don't compare me. I have my pride. I don't know, man. I hope it gets better. I hope that one day they break out this fucking Roblox infused haze. They're able to, like, can they catch up? I remember naively when I was like 14 years old, my boy Josh and I would just go back and forth talking about the different ways we would torment our children. 14-year, by the way. And we're like, and I remember saying, I'm going to make them play every fucking Mega Man game. Every single one of them. I want to make them play Mega Man 2 without telling them the weaknesses for the different fucking robots. That's what I'm going to do to my kids. I'm going to fuck them up. And I've reached a point now where even if I were to try that, there's too many fucking games, right? I have this project. I'm working on a fantasy console, and I'm naming the project 0 to Z. And I'm listing the different games I want for this fantasy cartridge. Let me just show you something real quick. I don't really get to often show cool shit. Let me show you something cool. So I have this board here called Cassette Futurism, where it is a bunch of concept art it's a big mood board for this thing that I'm building with metal panels, sheet metal, welding, and some plastic components, as well as some bigger components. And the main storage medium I'm going to use are either going to be mini discs like this one right here, or it's going to be a somewhere on this fucking chart, somewhere on this mood board is down here. I don't know where this motherfucker is. Oh, found it. Okay. A floppy disk. So I was thinking about putting the various ROMs and ISOs that I legally obtained onto a big, massive fucking NAS, right? A NAS media server. And then I'll have these floppy disks that I will print out sticker labels to put onto. And under the label, I will have a little NFC tag. And this floppy disk will go inside of a drive that I built for myself. And it will read this tag and correlate it with the game. So the ID for this tag, Space Hunter, would be SPH, for example. And I put it into the fucking floppy drive reader on my PC on this super system that I'm building, this retro system that I'm building, and it will be able to read SPH and then say, okay, you want to play Space Hunter, and just launch this Space Hunter with Emulation Station or RetroArch, whatever the fuck I'm using at the time. And I'm, dude, this is going. I'm really excited to build this. I'm really excited to build this, and also this is actually fitting into the aesthetics for a prequel to the game I'm making. But that's far in the future. I'm not going to talk about that right now. I don't even know why the fuck I brought that up. But I had this thing where I was like, I'm gonna make my kid play all these fucking games, but that's not feasible, brother. All right? Okay. So using these consoles, the NES, the Genesis, Mega Drive, SNES, you can read it if you want. Um, the typical consoles you would want that have all the classic titles on it. That's without the PS3. Okay, the PS3 is here. No PS4 or above. Anything past the PS. Okay, never mind. The PS4 is here. I lied. I'm a liar. I'm a fucking liar. Okay. No PS5. How about that? Right? The current generation is not on here. The classics included, there are around 40,000 video games. We talk about making tastes, and we talk about the abstraction of game design, the abstraction of influences. It is not reasonable for me to ask any child to go back and play 40,000 video games. It's not reasonable. And to be fair, a lot of these are absolute vaporware. A lot of these are absolute fucking trash, right? There's a lot of games on the Wii that are the worst games you've ever fucking played. There's probably only like 100 games on the Wii that are worth playing. However, even that, with all of these consoles combined, would be unreasonable. It would be unreasonable to ask a child to go back and play these games. So we have to pick like the best of, right? Like even I knew, like I'm not building, I'm not making, printing out 40,000 cartridges. All right, I'm not doing that. I'm not manufacturing 40,000 cartridges. But I don't know, man. There's too many fucking games, more coming out all the time. This list doesn't include indie games or PC games. It doesn't include Undertale or fucking Cave Story or any like the classic PC indie games. Like no fucking Super Meat Boy, no Braid, no Fez. None of that is on here. This is just consoles. This hasn't brought up PC at all. There's too many fucking video games. A lot of them are really good, and it's not reasonable to play them all. You have a limited amount of time on this fucking planet, right? 20 years are already gone, right? You have 60 left. You cannot, there's not enough time in the world to play all of these, bro. There's just not. And it brings into question what exactly are we doing here to generate an audience? What type of audience, what type of person is a gamer anymore? With this many fucking video games, with this many choices, what do you expect to happen? Of course, the pool is going to get diluted into this mess that we're in now. But then the next question comes like, how do we find each other? I don't know. Everybody's a gamer, nobody's a gamer. But it's not like just because you only played PSP games that you're not a fucking gamer, right? And like Roblox games can be inventive and like unique and creative. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have an answer for this. I think that the only thing that we can do is focus on those who are around you, right? You know your friends are gamers, so that's as far as you're concerned, that's all that really matters. This entire thing about gamers rise up and fucking Joker meme, fucking what was it? 8 times Stacy. This is the last time gamers rise up. Like this that era of us is dead. Is not. It's all gone now. I don't necessarily mourn it, but it is gone, and there's no getting it back. And that's a bit worrying. For me, I'm just going to focus on make my game the best that I can, because it's a game that I've been waiting for somebody else to make for the past 10 years. Nobody fucking made it. I've been waiting since seventh grade, really. But nobody fucking made it. For some reason, making Bethesda clones was the most unpopular game to clone. Why is that the most unpopular? You'll clone every other fucking game, but nobody wants to clone fucking Skyrim. I don't get it. Somebody just make a better Skyrim, please, so I don't have to do this myself. But no, nobody did. And even when games try, like Canaan's Amalur or what's that game that Tainted Grail? That's not the fuck I'm doing, bro. That's not what I have in my head. None of that is what I have in my head. Nobody's gonna be able to make this. I have to be the one to do it. That's kind of how I feel at the moment. And for me, I'm just gonna make this fucking thing. I know that there are 5 entries. I'm not sure if they're going to be fucking like DLC or all of the same game because it's the same engine and I'm using a lot of the same content. I'm just expanding the world. I have a pretty solid plan. I've been planning out the fucking game design document. I'm just making assets. Right now, I'm in the process of making a few animations. I have to make a combo system for those animations. But the game is like playable. I have like working switches and NPCs walking around and enemies to fight. But I think for me, I'm just going to focus on that. And I'm not really going to give a fuck about this question of like who an audience is. I'm still going to have those design choices so I don't get Hearts of Iron players or like players that don't fucking play video games and are going to ask me, "Where's the easy mode? Where's the emo?" I'm, I'm definitely still going to do those things. But I think what's even more important than that is like rather than trying to find an audience, I'm just going to make this stream into the void. I'm not hoping to make money from this. For me, it's just a raw expression of something that I want to exist. Like I still work a full-time job while I do this. Like this isn't like a dream job for me anymore. I already got that off my system when I graduated from fucking Full Sail, and then ended up doing fucking fuck all with a degree. Like what got me here was connections. I've largely grown out of this thing of like, oh, my dream is to make video games. No, I'm able to do it. It's not my dream though. My dream is to make my video game, to finish it before I'm fucking dead. That's the dream. That's the goal, baby. Okay, just do it before I'm dead. I don't have a crippling disease, but who knows? Okay, it can happen anytime. Life comes at you fast. I don't know. I didn't mean to get all fucking melancholic. I just thought it was funny, and now it's not funny anymore. It's not very hee hee ha ha, is it? Ugh, I'm fucking off. Okay, I'm gone. See ya.